Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning to our listeners. Good morning to our speakers. We are very happy to have you with us for this last webinar before the summer period, before the sun of July. We chose this today to have a webinar concerning higher education. Our country, Belgium, has the chance to have some of the best universities in the world. We can be proud of what is done as education in our universities. They have very good reputation abroad, and our universities have also a tradition of exchange programs with many universities in the world, and in particular with Chinese universities. In this post-COVID period, where during 2.5 years, sorry, we had exchanges very limited between various universities. It seems to us interesting to see what is the situation now, where are our university in their exchange programs with China at a moment when it is impossible for our students to go for specific programs, or it's very difficult also for Chinese students to come here. Where are they with their programs? How do they see the evolution, the future? Because I think it's very important that these programs are maintained, that these programs are developed. The difficulties in travel will not be forever. At one moment, travel will start again. We see that with the tourism within Europe and with some other countries outside of Europe. We hope that with China, it will start again soon. And so our students and Chinese students will be able to travel easier and to come back to follow specific courses or participate in research programs within the universities. I'm happy to introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Professor Luc Darwie. Professor Darwie is an emeritus full professor in structural engineering at Ghent University. He has been elected member of the Royal Belgian Academy of Technical Sciences. He's also he's professor in 2 Chinese universities, the prestigious Tongji University in Shanghai, the Southwest University in Nanjing. He has received several scientific awards, among which the Shanghai International Science and Technology Cooperation Award. We have the pleasure to receive him also because he is the initiator of the China platform within the University of Ghent, China platform that is now run by Professor Mangelschot, who's also among our listeners today. So Professor Darwie, I give you the floor, and we are keen to listen to you about what Ghent University and the China platform is proposing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your kind introduction, Mr. Chairman. It's a pleasure for me to give this presentation about the cooperation of our university, Ghent University, and several Chinese partner institutions. For those who would not know Ghent University, we were founded in 1817. That means that we exist already 205 years. Regarding the number of students, we have around 49,000 students, a majority, of course, bachelor and master students, but also a lot of PhD students and other types of students. Just a minute. Yes. Regarding the researchers, we have, in fact, a total number of more than 8,300 researchers being professors, PhD students, and postdocs. And for instance, in the year 2020, we had a total of 691 PhD or doctorates awarded. Regarding our research funding, you see here the evolution over the years. The dark blue part is the public research funding, let's say regional and national. Then we have the yellow part here, that's funding from EU and international, and the light blue box here is private research funding. So you see this steadily increases. These are the figures from 2020, but the increase continues. Special mention is here 78 ERC projects assigned. ERC is European Research Council, and that means that there is a strong competition for professors to obtain these grants. These are typically like 5-year grants. So 78 projects means that we are really working, or many professors are really working at the top level, internationally and internationally recognized. Regarding our research output, you see here the number of publications over the last, well, more or less the last 10 years. You also see here 39,000 international publications compared to the total here of almost 63,000. International means that we not only have Ghent University professors as authors, but the co-authors are from abroad. So this already shows that we have a lot of international research cooperation with many countries, and of course also with China. Regarding technology transfer, we have in the last 10 years 76 spin-offs that were set up, 1,153 patent applications, 25 valorization consortia. This means these are consortia established at our university to arrange for technology transfer or valorization, meaning that the results from, for instance, PhD thesis or other research project can be made available to other companies or spin-offs and so on. So this is very important for the link between, let's say, industry also and external partners and fundamental research. Well, we have a lot of international cooperation. That means that we also have a good position in international rankings. Whatever value you attribute to that, we always start as Ghent University with the so-called Shanghai ranking, or the academic ranking of world universities, where we are at position 71, so in the top 100, and we are the first Belgian university in that ranking. And especially in China, this ranking is considered to be very important. And yes, we always mention this, of course, when we visit Chinese universities. Then in the Times Higher Education ranking, the last figures, we are at position 96, also in the top 100, but there is another Belgian university who has a better position. I also want to mention in the framework of internationalization that Ghent University has a campus outside Belgium. Also, we have several campuses in Belgium, of course, but we also have a campus, and this since 2014, in Songdo in South Korea. This is near Seoul, mainly focusing on biotechnology, food and environmental technologies. So more the life sciences. And actually we have more than 500 students. So we consider this international hub very important. Also with respect to China, we have several Chinese students who study at this Ghent University Global Campus. Now, regarding the international cooperation as such, we have, sorry, I don't know whether you see the top bar that I see on my screen, but then the titles are each time, I think, a little bit covered, but anyhow. So we established at Ghent University already many years ago, so-called regional platforms covering regions, as you see here. So we have the Africa platform and the China platform, which are the oldest one. We also have the Russia platform, Asian Plus platform, and CSEM platform. And so as you see, the China platform is one of the 5 regional platforms. And well, these platforms, the idea is the following. So we are a comprehensive university with 11 faculties. And in all these fields, of course, there is international cooperation. And but before these platforms, these various platforms were established, all the contacts with the various regions were more or less, were not so much coordinated. So took place separately, and also not only to the various regions, but also to the city of Ghent, for instance, the provinces, private sector, governmental organizations, non-governmental organizations. And so what's more or less, I would not say chaotic, but not aligned. And due to the establishment of these 5 regional platforms, these in fact align and coordinate all these international contacts with respect to these 5 regions, inform also the colleagues about the opportunities there are, and also external partners. Sometimes or often we get the question, external partners are looking for expertise at our university, and so we can also bring them in contact with the relevant professors. So this connection creates also a lot of synergy. So particularly the China platform, how is this organized? Well, we have a full-time coordinator, that's Inge Mangelschot. She was already mentioned by Bernard. I'm director of the platform. That this is a part-time job, let's say. Also important to mention is that we have a representative office in Beijing. As far as I know, we are the only Belgian university with a representative in China. We also have, well, this is very important, of course, because we have direct contacts with Chinese partners, also with the Belgian embassy, Belgian consulates, and so on. We have a steering committee with representatives from our different faculties. We have like 4 meetings a year where we discuss the activities and also the strategy we follow. And since many years, we also have a so-called strategic partnership, mostly focused on Ghent and the province of East Flanders. So the city of Ghent, North Seaport, the province of East Flanders, and also the Belgian-China Chamber of Commerce are our strategic partners for many years already. Now, all these cooperation with China resulted in more than 100 cooperation agreements with, I must say, really the top universities in China. So these are, we deliberately look for high-level universities, and we consider the cooperation as equivalent partnerships. So there is an exchange of ideas, exchange of research in both directions. In the graph below here, you see the evolution of the incoming number of Chinese students and researchers. You see that it dropped a little bit down in 2021 due to the COVID pandemic, but now you see that for this running academic year, it's already even increasing, and actually we are at about 760 Chinese students, mostly PhD students, and mostly students with the CSC scholarship at our university. So the traveling in one direction from China to here apparently is no problem, but as you all know, traveling in the other direction is almost impossible, let's say. So for our staff members, and especially also for our exchange students, and each year we have like 20, 30 of our students that study for 1 or 2 semesters at Chinese universities. Unfortunately, this exchange towards China is not possible, and probably will not be possible in the next academic year, at least not in the first semester. Now, all these intensive cooperations, long-lasting cooperations for 20, 30 years in some cases even, have led to the establishment of joint laboratories. And especially our Chinese colleagues are very much in favor of this. And I will give you a survey of this so you have an idea of the various fields. And you will see we have quite a broad range of research fields and also a broad range of partners. So the first one is on global change and food security with the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences. This was the first one ever established. Joint lab on mycotoxin research with Shanghai, for instance, Shanghai Jiaotong University and also Shanghai Institutes for Biological Sciences, Chinese Academy of Science. Geoinformation with Xinjiang Institute of Ecology and Geography and also with the Chinese Academy of Sciences. I myself am involved in a joint lab for industrialized construction with Tongji University and Shanghai Construction Group. Also with Sichuan University, we have a joint lab on additive manufacturing, so 3D printing. International joint lab on sustainable crop pest control with Southwest University. One on World War I studies with Shanghai University and the Flanders Fields Museum in Ypres in Belgium. Advanced biomedical technology with Nanjing Forestry University. Global health with Hebei Medical University. Liquid crystals and photonic devices with South China Normal University and the joint lab for smart polymer materials with Xi'an Jiaotong University. So as I mentioned already, all top universities in China, let's say, and also cooperation in many fields over our different faculties. Just to show you a picture of my experience, so the Joint Lab for Industrialized Construction, which was established with Tongji University. Tongji University is ranked #1 in civil engineering and also have still a professorship at that university. They have very large structural testing facilities, as you can see here. And I'm also involved in research on practical projects like this type of tunnel. Worldwide, we have a very active alumni network, and more particularly in mainland China, we have 4 chapters, as you see here. So the Beijing chapter, Guangzhou, Shanghai, and Chengdu chapter. And each of these chapters coordinated by an ambassador. And they organize several activities here. Some other accomplishments of our platform. So we also organize several lectures on topics related to China each year this can be professors from our university, but also external speakers. Because the last years, the exchange of researchers is limited, we organized last year so-called China Platform Academic Forum, webinars which took place online. And this was then exchange and kind of seminars or workshops between Ghent partners and the Chinese partners. We also look for cooperation and synergy with other regional partners like the Russia platform, Africa platform, and so on. And we also have a WeChat account in China. So the platform was established in 2006, and every 5 years, in the meantime, we published a book highlighting our achievements. So this was published after 5 years, 10 years, and also recently after 15 years. These books, if you can ask for a copy, but these are also available online on our website. On a regular basis, we also visited our partners, like in 2018, we had the China mission led by our rector, Professor Rick van de Walle, with a very enthusiastic group of colleagues. As you see, we went to a very long list of partners. And then in November 2019, we had a mission headed by our vice rector, Mieke van Erweg, and this took place in parallel to the economic mission to China, headed by Her Excellency Princess Astrid, and this in fact was the last time that we could travel to China. So I hope you have, by these slides, you have an idea about our cooperation with our Chinese partners, and thank you for your attention. Xie.
Thank you very much, Luc. Thank you, Professor Darwie, for this very broad picture and very detailed picture of what your university is doing. And I must say that during all these years, I could watch how dynamic University of Ghent has been and still is, especially in connection with China, and we at the Chamber have had the pleasure to have you regularly visiting us, as well as Professor Mangelschot or some of your colleagues, and we hope that will continue. So thank you very much. I would like now to introduce Madame Charlotte Marron. Mrs. Marron is a project manager in charge of the executive international programs at the business faculty of the University of Liège. She's in charge of the MBAs run in Belgium, together with University of Hasselt and University of Aachen in Germany. She's also in charge of the development of the programs portfolio for the Asian and African market in the frame of the executive education. So we are full listening to what your university, Madame, is doing, especially in connection with China. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. De Witt. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen now. I hope everybody can see it. That should be fine.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your kind invitation and presentation. Thank you so much to the Belgian-Chinese Chamber of Commerce. It's a really great opportunity for us to share with you what we are doing in China since 2012, I would say. My name is Charlotte Marron. I will be speaking on behalf of the business faculty of Liège University and on behalf of my dean, who could not make it, unfortunately, today. So as you mentioned it, I'm project manager, and I'm in charge of the deployment of the program portfolio, mainly in Asia, and also I'm responsible for developing the MBA program that we have in Africa also, and here in Belgium. I've been asked to be quick and complete, so I'll make sure to not to have any delay in this presentation. So to go quickly through the agenda, in HEC Liège, we have split our activity in China into sectors. Let's say I will start with the academic education first, and I will go through the part of the executive education, which is basically what I'm responsible for. I will have the occasion to go back in time and to explain a little bit more the origin of our activity in China and our partner location. Okay, so for the academic part, what we mean by that is we will mention the program that we designed for young students, basically from bachelor to master level. These are courses that are offered during the daytime and during the week. They are organized in China for the students that we send there, Erasmus out, or in Belgium for the students we host here in Belgium, so-called Erasmus in. All the courses are given by local professor, either Belgian or Chinese one, depending on the location you are at. And usually all our courses are given face-to-face until 2020 for the reason I'm sure you know already, so I'm not gonna go through the pandemic that much. Among the activity that we organize, we have some double degree. So for these one, we have now 3 partner institutions located in Shenzhen, Xi'an, and Chengdu. We had the occasion to host 25 students from these locations this year, but We have also some exchange students which are coming from our exchange program. So we have a lot of connection with institutions located in China. Among them, we have a partnership with university from Beijing, from Shanghai, Chengdu, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and also Macau. We host every year 4 to 5 students coming from every university, and we are sending 1 to 2 students to these locations in China. We also have the occasion to develop some connection with the university in Chengdu, who is organizing some summer school for our students. So we've sent, I think, 18 students there during a month. And during this month, the students could, participate to some seminar, academic activity, but also cultural activity that were organized there in China for them. This is kind of famous. Our students really love to go there, so we try to maintain it in the future. We also had the occasion, thanks to the collaboration with the Confucius Institute, to organize and propose some Chinese course here in HEC for our bachelor and master students. It has been developed in 2018, and we have now students of level 1, 2, and 3 inside the school with some Chinese professor, which is really nice to have. I had the occasion to follow this class. I can tell you it's really nice for our students and myself to follow that kind of class. This is for the academical part. So basically, all the academic relations are managed by the international department. I'm more in charge of the executive education. So it will be my next slide. So as you can see, we had the occasion to host a lot of executive students in the past. I will maybe first tell you a little bit more about executive education, because I'm not sure that all of you are in the educational sector. So by executive education, we mean the program we developed for adults with professional experience. Usually our executive students attend the class during evening, during the week, or during seminar weekend. All our activity regarding the executive education are held in China and are managed by HEC professor and a local tutor. So basically what we do is that we organize the course, we develop the program, and we have some agent in China who take care of recruiting students for us and arrange the classes for us there. We also have some local Chinese tutor who organize face-to-face courses with them. So basically the courses we organize are both given in English and translated in Chinese, which is very nice for some of our students who cannot speak English. Most of the courses are offered remotely or face-to-face, but we make sure that at the end of every program that we give, we travel to Asia. That is the most nice part of the job, I would say. And usually we go there to give the final assessment to the students. So we go there for a business game or for a workshop. We last for a full weekend, and we assess the students during that weekend to make sure that they have the right skills in order for us to deliver the university certificate that we gave. You will see that all the programs that we are organizing are executive master program, and are awarded by a university certificate, which allows us actually to legalize the document for our students and alumni who would like to make it authentified by the Chinese government. If I have to go back in time with the executive education, what I can tell you is that we had our first contact with our main agent in 2012. It was our first contact for us, and it led to the creation and launch of 2 executive master programs. The first one is an advanced management executive master, and the second one is an EMBA, also called Executive Master of Business Administration. And we are still running these programs 10 years later. It was for us the first contact, as I said, and 3 years later, we already enrolled 110 students in these 2 programs. We had to travel 3 times to China in order for us to deliver the business game, which is the final assessment I was mentioning to you a few minutes ago. So it was in 2015, and during since then we keep on enrolling more and more students in the program. The peak activity would be in 2018. As you can see, the students number went to a roof at that time, and we registered in 2018 alone 642 students in our program. At the same time, we had to travel much more in China to give some business game. 11 of them were offered on the spot. So basically the destination, the location we've been to were Shenzhen, Shanghai, Beijing, Ningbo, Wuxi also was a destination. We kept it quite steady. In 2018, we launched 2 new programs. So it was a demand of our partner over there to organize more, let's say, more specific topics, and that is why we developed an executive master in finance and another one which is an executive master in accounting. That year we registered 570 students in the program, and we had to play 20 business games on the spot. So again, it was a kind of a lot of business game that we had to give. Just to give you an idea, these are these are courses that we gave during the weekend. So we start on Friday at 5 until, I would say, if the students are really good, midnight. We start over again the next day from 8 in the morning until, if the students are still good, midnight on the Saturday. And also we give classes on the Sunday. So it's quite intense for the students and for us. And we played 20 of them in 2019. Also, at the same time, as we had an increasing number of students, usually they've been offered the possibility to graduate in China, and most of them also want to come here and visit Belgium. So we do organize also some huge graduation ceremony. In 2019, we organized 2 of them because it was not possible to hold to host all the students in one graduation. So it was a total number of 450 students joining us here in Liège in October and December. Usually they come with friends and family, so it's kind of busy at the school at that time. And what we do when we have such events, we organize a full program of 3 to 4 days where we basically organize them company visit, for instance. We do organize intercultural seminar for them to understand a little bit more, the mindset here in Europe compared to the mindset in Asia. All of you, I guess, know that there is a kind of small differences or huge one. So these are the kind of activity that we do. We usually host the graduation in a castle. We've done it in the castle of Colonstar, which is a property of University of Liège here on site in campus. But we also have rented the Château de Modave, which is quite a nice place to go, especially if you have some friends from abroad. For that kind of event, it was really nice to have. As you know, 2020 until now was a bit more complicated, and still is complicated if you want to travel back in China. But still, we managed to enroll 570 students in the program in 2020-2021. We had to play the business game on remote, which was way more challenging for everyone. We had to organize 34 of them, which means that basically when we do everything on remote, you have to imagine that we have the jet lag, of course. So the schedule remains the same for the students, but we have 6-hour jet lag for us. So we start basically to teach on Thursday around 2 a.m. until 7 p.m. the same day, and it goes along until Sunday. During that period, we also had a lot of demand from the Chinese market to organize some other topic in the field of management again. So we have created and launched the Executive Master in Project Management and the Executive Master in Digital Transformation. So this is for you to have a more clear idea on what we are doing. I mentioned few locations, but basically if you want to know where our partners are located in China, well, we have been teaching in Beijing. We are teaching in Beijing, also Shanghai, and also Wuxi and Ningbo are really close. Shenzhen, of course, which is a place that you do not want to miss when you go in China. Hong Kong is also on the list of our location. We have some contact and have been teaching also in Chengdu, in Xi'an, in Taipei, and other places in Taiwan. And we have been also working in many more places, but at the moment, these are our current partner location. Of course, all of this would not have been possible without the help of many local operators, Belgian institution, local authorities, Chinese partner, and Belgian company, which we thank a lot for their support this last year. Thank you very much for your attention. That would be it for me. I will be staying for the rest of the session, so if you have any question, I'd be glad to answer them. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Marron. Thank you for your explanation. And what makes me always happy is to see that even though COVID has come, we in Belgium can be creative. You have been creative and you have maintained a big number of students coming from Asia, with also your business games developing very much, with new programs also. So that is nice, and I'm sure you will continue. And if we do such a webinar in 2-3 years time, I'm sure many new programs will be added. So thank you for your speech. I would like now to give introduce, before giving the floor, to introduce Mrs. Tong Xiaohong. Mrs. Tong is the head of the VUB China network. She has been responsible for international marketing and recruitment at the International Relations and Mobility Office of the Vrije Universiteit Brussels since 2010. She has contributed to the strategic planning of international marketing and recruitment for VUB, as well as to the collaboration with Chinese universities. She has managed various Erasmus scholarship programs at various levels, being master degree or PhD level. She has initiated and she's overlooking various ongoing joint educational schemes with partner university for student mobility purpose and creating win-win situation on both sides. And I must say, personally, it's already many years I have known Mrs. Tong, and I have also always admired her dynamism. We will have also with us Mrs. Kaliskan, Mrs. Aisun Kaliskan, the brilliant PhD researcher in educational science, also at VUB, and she, after receiving her master in educational measurement and evaluation, she has turned to studies in higher education, where she has developed, also gained her PhD at VUB in the famous field of higher education. She has been involved in international projects in higher education. She participated in workshops and activities in these fields, in academic leadership, university governance. Her research has been published in national and international books and journals. So Mrs. Tong, Mrs. Kaliskan, I will leave you the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. David. Very nice to see you here. Has been quite a few years. I will share my screen now. Voilà. So good afternoon. This is Xiaohong from VUB. Sorry, good afternoon in China and good morning in Brussels. Little bit in brief introduction of VUB. It's actually VUB was split off from university, the French-speaking university ULB, 53 years ago. So for the moment we have 20,000 students, more than 6,000 staff. We have many English taught programs. So today I will give you a brief introduction of our China network, what we do here, and also half of the time we invite my colleague Dr. Kaliskan to talk about specific Erasmus project. So this is an overview of our VUB international community. As you see that Chinese students are second biggest student community after Netherlands. We have always about 300 Chinese students on campus. Compared to Ghent and Liège, it's rather small. So what I've been doing is to establish cooperative educational schemes with Chinese partner universities. These are several schemes we have been doing for the last 10 years. And for the moment, 70 of Chinese students came from our partner university through our efforts. And the benefits is obvious. We see the performance of those students are very well, and we can support them in a group easily as well. So for the moment, Chinese students participate mostly master degree programs, also PhD exchange, also through scholarship. We also have quite some short-term summer school, winter school. And we do evaluation every once in a while to see how our Chinese students doing. So in this orange table, you can see the study yield of all our Chinese master's degree students' performance. It's all average higher than the average performance at VUB. Talk about numbers, indeed, like other two universities in 2020 to 2021, we have less Chinese students due to the impact of COVID-19. We do also have many VUB students interested in going to China for summer school exchange. Also, we had very interesting trade mission for my business students in Chengdu in 2015. So they have the opportunity to talk to company industry directly to try to find matching between Belgian company and the Chinese companies. That was great practice for them. We're also coordinating many scholarship programs. Apart from the Chinese government scholarship, we have been doing we also coordinate all the Erasmus projects. Sometimes we do student mobility. I do it in my office, and we also support our faculties for their research project. So this is all the past programs. We also have 3 major ongoing scholarship programs. Erasmus Plus, it's mainly for student and staff mobilities. China Scholarship Council, as Ghent already mentioned, we have been doing since 2005 until now. And later, my colleague, Dr. Galistan, will give you more details about this Erasmus project lead to. This is some examples how we assist our faculties and professors for their research projects and collaborations with China. This is one example of cultural diplomacy. So this is the exhibitions has been successfully held in both China and Belgium to have exchange on the arts part, culture and arts part. This is always very touching story that one of our professors in the Department of Sport Policy and Management at VUB have been developed 30-year friendship with a professor in Shanghai. When they were young, 30 years ago, they met as students and they kept the relationship until now. Both of them stayed in the same university for professor. So until now, today, they still keep contact and have many exchanges between two universities. And we also do lots of events, attend fairs, sometimes represent study in Flanders in China. Also our own fairs, visit universities. Every year, vice rector visit universities. In 2017, the rector both rector of ULB and VUB visited Chinese partner universities. We also received many delegations from China. We also brought 20 kilo of Belgian chocolate to Shanghai Jiao Tong University to share a little bit the Belgian taste. I was very successful. And this is one project I've been very proud of to participate. That it's a project shared. It's a project coordinated with Congo, China, and Belgium in 3 countries from 2014 to 16. So each year in one country, and the students are able to share the viewpoint of global challenges such as climate change. We do also coordinate alumni. Our alumni is getting bigger and bigger. We're always supported by the Belgian embassy in Beijing. And talk about alumni, I always have to mention this famous alumni from China, Tong Dizhou. He did a PhD degree in 1934 in Brussels. That's all my talk today. I will be here for your questions later. And now I will give the floor to my colleague, Dr. Kaliskan, for the Erasmus project.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Tong. Thank you for your explanations. And I know that VUB is very active with China, and in particular, you mentioned the cultural aspects. I think to Professor De Wolf, who has organized several exhibitions. I'm thinking also to your previous vice rector, Professor Cornelis, who has been also very pushy in establishing contacts with universities. Thank you very much. Now we listen to Dr. Kaliskan.
Hello, everyone. Let me just share my screen. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. Just a moment.
Yeah, just maybe full screen.
Yes, I'm there. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear chairman and dear colleagues, dear chairman and dear participants. First of all, on behalf of EU-China Research Center and VUB, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to you for this event. So today we have the opportunity to discuss the VUB's China cooperation projects with China. And I will be briefly introducing you VUB's China cooperation projects. VUB and EU-China Higher Education Research Center have carried out 3 big projects so far with a Chinese cooperation. The first journey started with EU-China DOF project funded by European Commission under the coordination of Professor Chang Zhu from VUB. This 3-year project was carried out from 2013 to 2016, and during this period, the project actively engaged in dialogue, cooperation, and interactive workshops on issues related to doctoral education among European and Chinese universities. Building on this network and cooperation between Chinese and European universities, VUB further developed another cooperation in the EU-China level. So during 2015 and 2018, we have engaged ourselves in enhancing cooperation between Chinese and European universities on university governance and academic leadership. This was in the context of innovation and internationalization of higher education institutions. And we started our second project. The lead project provided unit training, workshops, and role model learning opportunities for university management teams, and which facilitated and speeded up the internationalization processes of higher education institutions. So again, building on the experience of the LEAD project, we are now conducting the LEAD 2 project. The LEAD 2 project has been running from 2019 and was a 3-year project as well, and would normally finish in 2022 in January. But due to COVID, we are in the 4th year and it will run by January 2023. In this project, we are engaging ourselves further to enhancing academic leadership capacity building and university governance cooperation between European and Chinese universities. As for the partners, this project brings 6 European universities and 6 Chinese universities together, and BUB is the main coordinator of this project. In addition to those official partners, we also have a lot of network partners or network members. Network partnership or membership is open to any universities, any higher education institutions that are interested in leadership development. Let me just briefly mention a bit on the objectives of the project. What we would like to achieve in this project, first of all, to strengthen the capacity of higher education institutions in governance, university governance, and academic leadership, and also to enhance the knowledge and the capacities of academic leaders and potential leaders. As part of the objectives, the LEAD2 project also aims to implement innovative and targeted blended training, including MOOCs, workshops, and peer learning processes for academic leaders and potential leaders. In terms of key activities, we organize several MOOC courses. And although the project is focusing on the cooperation between Europe and China, European and Chinese universities, MOOCs, those MOOCs reach a lot of participants from many different regions around the world, such as Latin America, other regions of Asia and Africa. Linked to our objectives, these courses are offering capacity building of academic leaders and targeting participants from young level to middle level and up to senior levels, and also for potential leaders. The main second activity of the project, that is blended training. We have several editions of blended training, and we are combining face-to-face and online learning in those editions. Again, the intention is to build capacity of academic leaders. And with this intention, the participants in those trainings need to follow 8 to 9 modules in each training. And in addition to those activities, we also organize webinars and workshops. And among our activities, we also conduct comparative studies and have a lot of research on EU-China university governance and academic leadership. Regarding the deliverables, we have an online knowledge-based platform. Through this open and free platform, we share the literature review related to university governance and academic leadership, and also the deliverables of the project. Those deliverables include our publications, our papers, articles, book chapters, special issues, and reports, newsletters, and dissemination materials, and many things you can see on the slides. And we are now in the final phase of the project, and our other deliverable is to establish an EU-China Higher Education Center. And we are currently working on this aim and establishing an EU-China Higher Education Center and networking on university leadership. And this center will be a sustainable platform for further collaboration and networking on leadership. And finally, I would like to talk about our education projects, because the LEAD2 project has offered summer school and winter school in cooperation with Beijing Normal University. These courses are intensive and lasted around 2 to 3 weeks. And in those courses, we mainly focused on European education and culture. And our target group was Chinese bachelor and master students with various major backgrounds. The journey is still going on, and for more information about our previous and ongoing project, you can certainly consult our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kaliskan. Thank you for your explanation, which is also nice to see how much you are involved with these education projects and projects that are also financed by the EU. So your university is very open to that. Interesting also to see that you have developed this project with Chinese universities and your last education project with the Beijing Normal University, which are the most prestigious universities in China. So congratulations for that, and I really hope you can continue with developing this, which is in the interest of students both in Belgium and China. So thank you very much for your talk. I would like now to introduce Professor Denis Flandre. Professor Flandre is very well known in his topic. He received a master's degree in electrical engineering and then a PhD and habilitation degree from University of Louvain-la-Neuve in Belgium. He's a full-time professor at UCL since 2001. He's since 2017, he's an invited part-time professor at Hunan University in Changsha. He has been involved in the research and development of digital analog circuits as well as sensors. Don't ask me too much details because I'm not a specialist, and I leave that to Professor Flandre on that aspect. What I know, he has received many scientific prizes and best paper awards. He has participated in numerous research projects funded by regional and European institutions. He's a member of various European networks of excellence on high temperature electronics, SOI company focusing on SOI and high reliability integrated circuit design and products. He's a scientific advisor of several startups also in the field. So Professor Flandre, we will be very happy to listen to you. Before giving you the floor, I wanted to introduce also Mrs. Li Guoli, who will also be here with us. Mrs. Li received a bachelor's degree in electronic science and technology from Hunan University in 2011 and joined a PhD degree in electrical engineering from University Catholique de Louvain, UCL, and in circuits and systems from Hunan University in 2017. She has become an associate professor in School of Physics and Electronics at Hunan University in 2021, after 3 years of working as an assistant professor. Mrs. Li involves mainly in research of thin film transistors, two-dimensional transistors, and semiconductor physics to develop device performances and advanced display technology. So, Professor Flandre, Professor Li, I give you the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. DeWitt. Can you see my screen?
We see your screen very well. Thank you.
And the laser pointer as well?
Yes, we see that.
So thank you very much. So I was asked to present a special study case of a collaboration we started with Hunan University several years ago on the topic of research and teaching in optoelectronic semiconductor devices. So I will make things a little bit more technical because this is my expertise, trying to be clear, but just to give you an example and to try to draw some lessons of what we've learned together with my UCL and Chinese colleagues. So first of all, we want to do cutting-edge innovation in micro-nano electronics value chain. So you can imagine chips and PC boards or laptops or your smartphones in which we will involve electronic devices. And we have to start by the process of fabrication, studying the physics of the transistors, for example, then to embed them in circuits, then in systems, and finally into application. So we started our collaboration with Hunan in the very, let's say, basic stuff, so very basic analysis of physics of transistors or devices, as we will see, in optoelectronics. And our aim is to support education, expertise, research excellence. That's what we are doing now and what I will develop a little bit. But then we want to go further. We want to extend our collaboration to circuits. And then we will be able to talk about intellectual property, about patents, and maybe later on in the future about collaboration with industry or creation of joint startups, who knows? So what do we build on? In Hunan University, their strategy is really focused on transistors. So the transistor is the basic element of any integrated circuit, of any chip, be it on silicon, the most used material in the world for the microprocessors, for example, or be it with new materials, new two-dimensional, ultra-thin materials for future electronics. And you see some images here of the clean rooms or testing laboratory in China. In UCL, starting from this approach at the physical level is to develop an iterative optimization of the devices using computer simulations, using micro-nano fabrications in our clean room, using electrical characterization in our specialized laboratory, and as I said before, the introduction into real microsystems. So you can imagine PC boards if you like, and then draw some perspectives to continue the wheel and develop new devices regarding some specific applications. So the origin of this collaboration between, first of all, Mrs. Guolili, now Professor Guolili, and myself dates back to October 2013. I received an email and the CV from this young PhD researcher, excellent CV, by the way, wishing to join my group for 2 years as part of the PhD training program supported by the CSC. So in February 2014, we submitted the project to CSC entitled Theoretical and Experimental Study of an Innovative TCO-gated SOI lateral pin optoelectronic device. So what does it mean? Well, this is a very basic structure at the starting point where you see here, this is a layer of silicon which can absorb light in order to react to light and to measure, let's say, the intensity of the light deposited into the device. This is a photodiode. And the idea of Guoli, theoretically speaking, was to put here what's called a gate, which has to be transparent to light. Okay, this is the starting point. So Guoli obtained the CSC grant and arrived in Belgium in September 2014, and she stayed here for a PhD till June 2017 at the end. So from this original idea, what we could do, thanks to the experiments that we could run in UCL, was first of all to isolate the device on a membrane. So to make it much smaller and to isolate it on a membrane. And then at the end, we completely removed the silicon substrate. We only retained the membrane and we put the membrane on a PC board. Okay, and we used as a membrane graphene, which is a very well known nowadays. Also, it's a carbon, a monolayer of carbon used as a transparent gate, and we could obtain in her thesis record photo response under UV light, ultraviolet, with the smallest thickness ever realized, maybe for a device chip. And this paves the way towards flexibility, so flexible microsystems, for example, for biomedical application. So this work led to a large number of publications in high-level conference and journals, and it was presented in July 2017 in Hunan University as a joint PhD diploma. And then I have to get back a little bit in the past. How did we do that? Well, first of all, we signed a memorandum of understanding in August 2016 towards this cooperation in scientific research, support of joint diploma program, and so on. So this led to my visit in HNU in July 2017 for the public presentation of Mrs. Lee's thesis, where I was appointed, as said, as a part-time professor, first of all, for 3 years. It's been renewed now. And we started discussions and meetings with other Yunnan University professors and researchers. And this has led to a number of following PhD theses, also with my colleague, Professor Raskin, okay, since 2017, 2020, and it's still going on. They were also supported, all these PhD theses were supported by the CSC, as well as by a complementary grant from UCL, which is a special scheme we have. Usually our thesis lasts for 4 years. In some cases, the thesis was done for 2 years in China and for 2 years in UCL. In some other theses, we have been welcoming the researcher directly for 4 years. This one is going to be presented in the next months. And we had also the pleasure to receive an invited principal researcher, Dr. Peng Wei, in the group for 1 year. Unfortunately, most of it during the COVID period. Nevertheless, we could do some work, and we could plan for an extension of the cooperation agreement towards new types of transistors, new types of devices, with other professors from Yunnan University, and all these work has led to 10 high-level publications. But we had more goals in mind. We had the possibility with the CST to welcome more than 3 PhD every year in UCL. Unfortunately, due to the COVID crisis, only one could come and start in October 2022. Again, supported by CSC and the complementary grant from UCL. And we had also as a goal to develop teaching by going and give courses in China, but also by welcoming master students, 2 per year, in the specialized master degree program we have in UCL about nanotechnology. It's a joint program with other French-speaking universities in Belgium, and it's a 1-year master degree, so it's complementary or specialized in the sense that it welcomes students who already have a master degree, for example, in engineering, but also in biomedical science or in physics or in chemistry, and want to really develop their specific expertise in nanotechnology. Again, this was to be initiated in a visit I should have done in April 2020, and which is still postponed for obvious reasons. Okay, so what did we do? Well, we developed online teaching. The idea was to complement the education in Hunan in electronic devices with exposure to courses in English. This is important, as was said by previous presenters here. And also to change a little bit the approach. Our approach in UCL aims at bridging theory to application, and notably using computer simulation for in-depth physics and circuit performance, as I mentioned before. And so we started with, let's say, lectures for PhD students in 2020. We continued with to experiment with lectures online for undergraduate students. And we realized that, okay, we have to, improve the understanding in Chinese by the translation of the technical vocabulary. And then the most efficient way to, let's say, to deliver these courses was to make short podcasts in English that I am recording with Goli, leading to practical discussions and sessions in Hunan University after all. And we started that. Oh, I made a mistake here. We started that this year in February, April 2022 for a course at the bachelor, for a course in nanoelectronics at the bachelor degree in HNU. So next, to develop our projects, both on technical research aspect and on education, we are now submitting a project to the WBI-China Cooperation Program. And we are thinking about new topics of collaborations, even at an international levels. With here a professor from Tarragona University in Spain. Professor Iniguez is a high-level expert in the type of transistors that we want to model with analytical equations. So I'm coming to a little conclusions or lessons about the ingredients for success, which are quite obvious, I would say. But we started, let's say, really by the research, which is the understanding and the complementarity of our research teams on thematics of common interest based on a very solid backgrounds, and also I would say laboratories, facilities on both sides. So the capability to share this, and also, of course, the funding opportunities for the two institutions. And to go on, to build the collaboration progressively, of course, we need to be strongly motivated, and Professor Lee is highly motivated and dynamic to extend this collaboration, but also to align our objectives toward education and publication strategies. And so that needs a lot of willingness, respect, trust, confidence to overcome all the hurdles, and there are many, 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 and to pursue this collaboration over the years with, of course, and I have to thank the support of the two universities, but especially of Chinese Science Council for the funding of the grants, of the exchanges, and finally of our possibility for collaboration. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Flandre, and thank you for your explanation. It's always a pleasure to listen to someone who speaks about something very specific, very complicated, with clear words. And you have that talent, and that is nice. And also, I understand why your cooperation is a success when you give the ingredients of success. I understand that when you have people like you, like Professor Lee, who have the knowledge, but who are open-minded, who are listening to each other, who are listening to the other culture, trying to understand the other culture, and that is really the best example you can show. So I really wish you a lot of success for your future projects, and I'm sure you will develop new experiments, and you will have new researchers coming in your project. So thank you very much. Now I would like to give the floor to Professor Lee.
Actually, Dini have done the presentation, and I'm very pleasured to be here to participate in this webinar. So I will for the discussion if needed. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Maybe I have a question for you. How did you overcome, I would say, the cultural gap when you arrived in Belgium? Because you have spent several years in Belgium, coming from Hunan. You were very motivated because I understand that you contacted Professor Flandre. But I guess when you arrived for the first time, also with a big program for your PhD, how did you cope with that?
Yes, actually, when I just arrived, yes, of course, I feel maybe afraid of what I'm doing in the next, and also about my PhD. But Dini is a very good, the best supervisor that I would say, that he take care a lot of me about in my research, and also give me the professional advice. So in my research, I feel confident. Of course, that I would meet some difficulty and need to overcome the hurdles, but okay, we can. I was with very strong determination or motivation to make my joint program work. So I think nothing can stop me. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you, Professor Lee, and thank you for your words. And I hope we can see you sometime back in Belgium for some conference or some additional research, and I hope that can take place next year, and hope also that Professor Flandre can go back to China and to your university and continue his teaching program definitely. We have now a few questions from the public. Here we had a first question, and that will be maybe for Professor Manhulscott from University of Ghent. A question: when is the next academic forum foreseen with China at Ghent University? Professor Manhulscott, because I know that Professor Darwie had to leave. So Inge, if you listen to us, if you can take the floor. Okay, then we will see later for if Inge Manhulscott joins us after. We have also a question here. Yes, we don't hear you. No, no micro. No, we don't have the sound. No, not working. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
No, yes, perfect. Yes. Inge.
Okay. So sorry for this this inconvenience. Well, yeah, as Professor Darwie mentioned, it was a huge success last year. Our first academic China platform academic webinar series with 8 partners and alumni of these partners participating. And this year we will have a second edition with 18 webinars in 1 week time during the month of October. So it will take place around the middle of October in China again. And this year, instead of 8 partners involved from our Chinese partner universities, we have 18 partners participating together with alumni who were in Ghent University before. And in that way, they also are connected with their former supervisors in Ghent University. So we hope that we can turn it again into a big success, and hopefully also again with a big slot event, closing event with the support of our embassy in Beijing.
Right. Inge, we have also a question for you. To what extent did the China Platform Asia Office receive support from the university? And the second question, to what extent the COVID has impacted the cooperation with China? How did you maintain cooperation with Chinese partner?
Well, the first question is not clear to me. To what extent?
Yes, did the China platform within the university receive support from the university? I think.
The China platform is one, as Luc told, we have 5 platforms, and all these 5 platforms are embedded in the structure of our university. That means that their strategic goals, the way they are set up, their management, and where they need to focus on giving support, this has all been integrated in the integrated policy plan of our university. So we are part of the structure of our university, and the goals that are the aim of our platforms are very clearly described in the strategy plan of Ghent University, a first one which was written several years ago, but that now has been renewed. So we are an integral part of Ghent University structure in trying to strategize on these specific regions, on these specific countries. Second question, how much or what was the impact? As Luc showed in the presentation, you could see that the ever incoming number of Chinese students, because the community in Ghent University is the biggest international community, if we do not count the Dutch students and researchers present. And the number keeps on increasing. So we just had the number of selected candidates by CSC for this year made or published. We have again 90 incoming with the first batch selected by CSC. That means that it's a huge number that continues to be incoming in Ghent. So a huge number of doctoral students, most of it. So the total exists of more than 85% are doctoral students at Ghent University. Luc mentioned outgoing. Until the lockdown, we were looking at a number of 50 to 60 outgoing to China. This number dropped, which is really a pity because we had a huge number also every year that obtains grants from the China government scholarship program. So the program for international students to go to China. But of course, with the policy, the travel policy of China in the past 2 years, everything came to a stop. However, we noticed that the intention and the hope for our exchange students, our Ghent University students, to still go to China. And I'm not talking about only the sinology students, but I'm also talking about our engineering students, our architecture students, students from our faculty of law, from our faculty of economics. They're all still hoping that they can restart mobility towards our partner universities in China. Of course, the number, if you see 760 already at Ghent now, and not a small 100 every year outgoing, it's not really balanced. But I think that this also has to do with the fact that we're still working on strengthening our cooperation in many domains. And also it's about mouth publicity, I think, of the experiences of these outgoing students and the experiences they have in our partner institutions in China.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Inge, for your explanations. Yes?
One thing I would like to add, although this outgoing mobility stopped, we had over the past 2 years very nice experiences with some very successful online courses that professors in Ghent organized together with our partners such as BNU in China. So that's a way towards blended mobility, I would say, as well.
Okay, thank you, Inge. Now I have a question coming from Mrs. Deng from the Confucius Institute, a question for Mrs. Marron. First of all, how many Belgian students participate in the Chinese language courses in Liège? That is the first question. And a second question is, would you please introduce the cooperation mode of double degree programs with the Chinese partner universities? Mrs. Marron, I hope you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Voilà, you are still with us. Nice. Yeah. So 2 questions for you.
Okay, unfortunately, I will not be of great help because you are asking questions about, let's say, not my field of experience, but I will tell you what I know. I know that at least 20 students registered this year in level 1 for the mentoring class. In level 3 students, in the level 3 courses, we were at the beginning of this year 8 students to follow the level 3. So this is the information that I have. But if you need extra information, you can also contact Mrs. Zhang from the Confucius Institute. She will tell you exactly how many students they have, or you send me an email. And regarding the double degree, unfortunately, this is managed by the international department here in HEC. So usually what I know is that you set an agreement between a university, which means the quality requirement that we expect regarding the accreditation. And if there is a match, then the students who enrolled get the double degree, so a degree at the end of their track, of course, and under successful completion, they get a degree from HEC and a degree from the Chinese university who is sending the students here. So this is the model, but I cannot tell you exactly how it is set. If you need more information, I would be glad to answer it a little bit later on by email if it suits you. Thank you so much for asking, and sorry for the lack of completion in my answer.
Thank you, Mrs. Marron. Thank you for what you could tell us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming to an end of our session. I would like to thank very much our speakers, Professor Darwie, Professor Mangelschot from University of Ghent, Madame Marron from HEC Liège for their explanations, Mrs. Tong Xiao Hong from VUB, as well as Professor Kaliskan from the Free University of Brussels, Professor Flandre from UCL, Professor Li from Hunan University. All of you have accepted to spend some time with us. All of you have accepted to share your knowledge with us, and I'm very thankful to you. We could have had other university with us today, but due to the time limitation, we could not have them. I'm thinking to Antwerp University, I'm thinking to KUL, Flemish University of Leuven, I'm thinking to ULB, French-speaking University of Brussels, I'm thinking to ISEC in Brussels. All these universities have also connections in one way or another with China, have also cooperation programs. But I'm very happy with the fact that we had our speakers today, that they were showing that even though we are facing sometimes some crisis, health crisis, political crisis, economic crisis, there are ways to innovate, there are ways to overcome that. You universities, you are a bridge with students, you are a bridge with researchers, you are a bridge with professors from both sides. And I think your role is of utmost importance because, of course, you are also the future, you are training the future generations. And it is important that we keep continuing trying to know each other better, trying to realize things together. And when I see Professor Flandre, what he realized with Hunan universities, with Professor Li, that is one of the best examples of cooperation we could have. So thank you very much, all of you. Thank you to our listeners. If there are further questions, don't hesitate to send it to the chamber and we will send it to our speakers. You will also receive the possibility of having access to the slides a little bit later. So thanks a lot, and wish all of you some nice holidays if you have the chance to take some and to travel this summer. Thank you very much and see you back soon. Thank you.
Die man vroeg blijkbaar aan jou voor Pitayo. Pitayo is